Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages. So I'm going to show us how to do the Arch Linux install today. I've done a few recordings with it. I'm not happy with any of them. So what we're going to do in this situation is we're going to just do the Arch Linux install straight across, right? Because it's such a simple process. It's not as complex as people want it to be. So I figured I'd show no cuts. Let's just go from start to finish Arch Linux install. And we're going to end that with being able to play video games. So let's take a look at this. Let's go for it. First things first, what we want to do is we want to go to utorrent.com. We're going to need a torrent software, and we'll go ahead and talk about torrenting softwares in the future. But we're going to skip the step. See where it says uTorrent Classic, click free download, and then the download now button. It's a very simple, easy to use program. We'll talk about torrents in a little bit. Oh, sorry, I'm dealing with some allergies this morning, so wanted to clear that. All right, so we're gonna go with next, agree, skip all. This portion is gonna want you to click, install all of this like McAfee and all of that. We don't need any of that. That's just trash that fills up a computer. And granted, we're moving over to Linux, but let's not encourage it. Maybe you want to stay and do like a dual boot system. So you don't want that messing up your Windows environment. And that's pretty much going to be it on this one. We're going to uncheck launch this application on exit. There's a little bug that's going on with uTorrent, and I haven't quite figured out if it's uTorrent or if it's Windows that's causing it, but we're just going to go ahead and click that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to download Rufus, which is going to allow us to make a USB drive that can boot into our Linux install. So we're going to do rufus.ie, Rufus. We're going to scroll down. I grabbed the wrong mouse. We're going to scroll down and we're going to click the standard x64 thing right there. Ignore that ad. Rufus downloaded nice, quick, and easy. And then we're going to go to archlinux.org. Archlinux.org. This is where you download Arch Linux. Now, the reason why we need a torrent application is because that's how Arch Linux is shared. It reduces server capacity that's needed because we don't have a download server or anything like that. We're just using peer-to-peer file sharing with a torrent. We're going to click downloads on the top right, and then we're going to click this little magnet link. You can also download just the torrent file, but the magnet link should go ahead and open that up. Continue with newer version. I don't know why that said that, but okay. And then we can go ahead and just close the browser there. And after a little bit of processing, agree and close. Come on, you can do it. Man, this application has gotten bad. I'm gonna have to find something a little bit better in the future because this is ridiculous. Status, nothing. Really? When I say we're gonna do a live install option, it wants to be this way to me. Okay. There we go. Click OK. There we go. That's how it should work. We're going to deal with all the GIFs, gabs, and everything that happens during this process. It's really short and easy. Like there's no real reason to do a ton of cuts in this type of situation. So when it comes down to it, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making this USB drive, and then I'm going to show you how to boot into the USB drive, assuming that I select the right one. Last time I messed up for some reason and selected the wrong one. But what I really want to do in this situation with this video is to show you that it's not that hard, that it's, if the time down below is going to show you how long it's going to take for you yourself to be able to also install Arch Linux. And we're going to get things like Steam and Discord running, as well as a thing called Flatpaks, where we're using the KDE Discover, which is kind of like a Microsoft Windows store, like an Android store, that you can download things like Discord or VLC Player or GIMP, which is a video editing program. I fully understand that this could be a little bit overwhelming, and you may want to watch through this a couple of times so this way you can actually get all of the information. But if you wanted to follow along with me, here's a video. You can follow along with me throughout this process, and it's nice and simple and easy. Grab yourself a little bit of coffee though, because coffee is going to be needed. I've got the Flotilla mug over from Cynical. It's a beautiful mug. All right, so we're here at the point where we're about to be done. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to the File Explorer. We're going to go to Downloads. We're going to go to Rufus and double click that and click Yes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select our USB drive. Now, when it comes to this USB drive, this is the only one that I have in here. If you have any information you want to keep, you're going to want to back it up to another drive. That goes for this USB drive. That goes for wiping a computer. If you plan on doing like a dual boot system, you're going to want to make sure that you remove that other media, so this way you don't risk deleting it, or know exactly which manufacturer is that drive is and how big that drive is, so this way you don't wipe it during the installation process of Arch Linux. Know that nothing is perfect. Backups are always very valuable, very important to have, because you can't get data back, at least not easily, when you make a mistake. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click select here. We're going to select our Arch Linux ISO, click open, and then we're going to go ahead and click start. This ISO image is and then it's going to destroy everything that is on this drive. Click OK. So this is going to do some partitioning. This is going to get everything kind of set up that we're going to need. It's a very, very quick process. Let's go ahead and talk about torrents though, while we're in the middle of this. If you're not familiar with torrents and you're used to, news media that talks about torrents, you might think that it's one of those things that's like, hyper illegal, or hackers use it to do illegal things. It's really not. It's there to be a peer-to-peer. So that means that my computer, which is doing this thing where it says seeding right here, is one of the peers. And it's seeding and putting out that information to other users that want to have access to that same file. And it's seeding it out there so this way they can download a portion of it. And there's hundreds of other people, or maybe, let's see, how many peers do we have? We have 724 peers. In this situation, and then we have 61 seeds that are connected inside of what's called the swarm, right? So that's a bunch of little groups of files, and so that takes it and makes it, as long as your internet connection is fast, everybody else's internet connection doesn't have to be as fast as yours, because it's going to be pulling one portion of a file from here, it's going to be pulling another portion of that file from there, and piecing all of the blocks together. That's how it works. Sure, you can use it for nefarious things. Yeah, that's kind of, the nature of the beast with anything. But what torrenting allows you to do is to be able to have a reliable, redundant supply of that same information. And it goes through checksums to make sure that everything's accurate and valid as it's pulling that information. So this way, it's known that nothing's been modified also. So it's secure, very safe, and it's very easy to use, and it's not used by elite hacking groups only. All right, so we're at 76.2% here. We're going to go ahead and enjoy some water. I know it's a styrofoam cup. I fill it with water and put a little bit of a Gatorade powder in there from time to time, or something like that. The best thing to have, though, is still some coffee. All right, so let's go into understanding our drives while we finish this up here real quick. If we go to Windows and we do disk if I could spell it, that'd be great. All right, disk manage, create and format disks right here. So we're going to take a look at the disks that we have on this computer, right? We have 2 drives. Both of them are almost exactly the same size. So that's a little bit of information. But if we go ahead and right click and do properties, we're going to see this right here is the Toshiba NVMe, right? That's what my main Windows install is on. If we right click here and we go to properties, we're going to see that this is a WDD or WDC drive. So Western Digital. And it's got, it's not a Toshiba. So when we go into Linux, we're going to be looking for that Western Digital drive, not the Toshiba drive. It's going to be real easy, quick, and simple. All right. And that is our installation. All nice and done. All right, now my keyboard likes to be stupid because it runs off wireless because I use it swapping between both systems. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to start. We're going to go ahead and click the power button. We're going to hold left shift on our keyboard and click restart. If everything goes beautifully, we'll find out. We'll see. But if you dedicate to that button, you hold on to it and you're ready for it, it should bring you into this wonderful screen. Mine likes to do funky things. But it should bring you into this wonderful little screen here that it'll eventually get us to. In just a moment. Come on, Microsoft. There we go. So, use a device. This is the thing that we're looking for. If you don't know what your buttons are, so like in this situation, this one's an Asus motherboard. So boot device menu when you're booting is F8. On my MSI motherboard, it's F12. On HP, it's F10. On I can't even remember all of them. But instead of knowing that, if we're going straight from Windows, we can make this nice and easy by doing use a device. And then this says UEFI ISO. There we go. Hopefully we didn't have any issues there. Anyways, your USB device should show up there. Yeah, UEFI OS. That's going to boot into the Western Digital. Don't know. This computer, I've been using this computer and it has been hit or miss. Anyways, it should show your USB drive that's there. It'll say like your Lexar or your SanDisk. You're going to select that. In this situation, it didn't want to do it. It's fine. Not the end of the world. This is computers, right? It's not this is Linux. This is computers. Things don't always work how most people think that they should. In my situation, I knew what my boot menu key was, so I decided to spam it just to make sure that I was going to be fine and be able to proceed with this video because that's a cool feature and I've shown it working in other Linux tutorials so far. We're just going to keep rolling from here. So we have Arch Linux install medium. Arch Linux install medium with speech, memtest 86 plus, and EFI shell, as well as boot into firmware interface. That is going to be your BIOS or your UEFI. We're going to go over here to the Arch Linux install medium. We're not worried about with speech. We're going to click enter. And then this puppy is going to run some amazing hacker script. I do not know why the screen is green. It's something with the capture card and that computer, and I do not understand. So, we're going to wait 10 seconds for the device to run. And then it's just going to start downloading some or offloading some information over into RAM to make a RAM image. It's just, yeah, making so this way it has fast access to what it needs. So this way the CPU is not constantly making calls for information. Arch Linux. There we go. I figured that this would be the best way to show it, just because Arch Linux is a little bit more of an in-depth process. I don't want to take away from everything that you would see here. Now, if you have a Wi-Fi card, I do not. There is a simple command you're going to put in on that. You can Google that answer and use your cell phone to look it up, or another computer. It's all like 4 commands. It's very self-explanatory. It's just enter this command to see what devices you have. Enter this command to select that Wi-Fi device. Enter this command to scan for Wi-Fi networks. Type the name of the Wi-Fi network plus this command plus Wi-Fi network plus the Wi-Fi password, and then it connects. And it's really stupid simple. So I've never worried about that with tutorials, just because I run hardline, as so should you. Wi-Fi it's a subpar gaming experience. Okay, so we're going to type Arch install, and that is going to bring us to the Arch installing package. So Arch install language, English. If you want a different language, click that. Locals, this is going to handle your local encode. This is stuff that you're not going to need to touch. Mirrors and repositories, this we will need to touch. We're going to press enter, and then we're going to select a region. It's going to load a bunch of regions. I know personally that it's 5 clicks up on the keyboard, and it brings us to the United States. I haven't done this a ton of times to begin with, apparently. Anyways, there's that. Optional repositories. This is critical. We want to have this. Multi-lib. See where it's selected there? Multi-lib. Press enter. You want multi-lib. It's going to be important, and you'll see why in the future. Go back. Disk configuration. Press enter on that. Partitioning. Enter on that. Use best effort disk partitioning layout. Just make your life easy. This is where it's important. This right here. See where it says Toshiba? That is my main drive for Windows. The reason why I need to keep it is because I'm doing these tutorial videos and I don't want to have to reinstall Windows every 5 times or every 5 seconds. Anytime I make a mistake, and just not worth it. Here's our Western Digital drive. We're going to go ahead, and for my situation, I'm going to press enter on that. We have BTRFS. Okay, so let's explain file systems. We all from the Windows environment should be aware of FAT32, NTFS, exFAT, and FAT as the file systems. This is Linux's file systems. They are very difficult to read on Windows, so if you have some type of drive that you want to be able to transfer data between, you're going to need a Windows file system that you can transfer the data between, because Linux can read those files. We have BTRFS, ext4, XFS, and F2FS. I always mess that up, and I'm glad I got it right this time. BTRFS has a bunch of additional features in it that allow for making backups and whatnot of your drive. ext4 is the traditional drive layout that we have. XFS is used in server environments, and so is F2FS. In this tutorial, we're going to be using BTRFS because I want to set you up for beneficial things in the future. So we're going to use BTRFS. All right. Would you like BTRS to subvolume with the default structure? No. Would you like it to use compression? Disable copy on write. Would you like to have a separate home partition? No. Why did I do it that way? Screw it. We're going to go back to... I don't want to have to explain why I chose all of those things. We're going to go back. ext4. Would you like a separate partition from home? No. Okay, back. There we go. Disk encryption. Screw that. Swap space. That is enabled. You're going to want it enabled. If it doesn't say enabled there, just do enabled. Swap space is like virtual RAM, right? So it stores a little bit of data in places while it waits for RAM, and then RAM grabs that information. So this way it's all lined up the way that it needs to be. Yeah. Bootloader. There are 2 options. You have systemd bootloader and you have the grub bootloader. ignore these two. Grub is the traditional one. Systemd is the newer one. We're going to go with that. Unified kernel images. You're going to want to enable that. Hostname. This is going to be what your computer shows up as on your network. So mine's going to be archiver or archive. And then we're going to do test. I have the whole backstory and whole storyline for characters and like little books that I'm working on. So archive has a meaning to me. Root password, you can set this. I'm not going to, but if you set that, do not forget that. All right. This is where we add users, which is the selection below that. Add a user. This has to be lowercase. It has to have at least 4 characters for your password. Very quick and easy. Should moid be a super user for sudo? Sudo is where you're asking super user to do something for you. In Linux, there is a hierarchy of things that exist. You as your user cannot install programs. You have to ask the super user to install those programs for you. So it's like the actual admin has to do it. If you're on the sudoers list, you then have the ability to ask the root system to do the task for you, and it can accept or deny it. It can accept it. There are scenarios where there's safeguards in place to prevent you from breaking things. If you do not add a user to the sudoers list, you're going to have to reinstall your operating system because it's a pain in the butt to get everything working again. So we're going to go ahead and click yes. If you have any additional users, now is the time to add them. If you don't want them to have access to installing things, don't add them to the sudoers list because they can do anything they want on the computer. It's more complex than just installing, modifying system files, all of that. All right, confirm and exit. Profile. This profile is very important. We're going to go with time and we're going to select desktop. Just trust me on it. I'm going to select KDE Plasma as my desktop environment, right? You can go through and use spacebar to add all of them if you really, really want. It's gonna take a long time to do that install, but we'll go ahead and add in some of my favorites here real quick. Now, the reason why I selected KDE Plasma and XFCE is because they're the most similar to a Windows environment. And I do like the original layout of Windows. I left Windows because they want to have this whole Copilot thing. And I just don't want an AI looking over my computer constantly. Like, it just, there's a deeper political type conversation, I guess, to have there. Politics, not like politicking, not, Democratic, Republican. Okay. All right. Graphics drivers. If you have an NVIDIA card, God help you. But also, open source Nouveau driver is the thing you're going to need to select. For me, I have AMD, so we're going to go with AMD. If you have an Intel graphics card, you're going to want to go with Intel. Intel and AMD both have open source drivers that work. Not Nouveau, but proprietary. You're not going to want to go with that. So they both have open source drivers that work. So ignore that part that I said there. I misspoke. NVIDIA, on the other hand, their open source drivers with the Nouveau drivers cannot function properly to play games, do video editing, a bunch of other things. So you're going to want to select that proprietary software. All right. And proprietary means that it's made by NVIDIA. Greeters, we're going to go with SDDM. You can select any one of these. It's just the thing that welcomes you for your lock screen. Okay, and click back. Now, audio. Pipewire is the one that you're going to select. Pulse audio is the older. We're going to be using the stuff that's newer. Kernels, we're going to just go with the standard Linux kernel, right? The most up-to-date. If you want more stability, you can go with LTS. and just ignore that. It really, it doesn't matter. There's the hardened one, which has more security. You have the Zen, which is a little bit more power efficient focus. Anyways, network configuration. We are using KDE Plasma, so we're going to use Network Manager. You can also do copy information from ISO. You're going to have to use a terminal to set up anything else network related in the future, though, so do yourself a favor. Additional packages, we're not going to worry about that. It used to be where you could type in the packages that you wanted. Nowadays, though, it's this long ass list. And ain't nobody got time to go through a list of thousands of packages. I wish that they would bring back the original. Time zone. I'm going to select the United States, Eastern, because that's where I'm at. You select yours. And now we're here. That's the end. Click install. Would you like to continue? Click yes. It's going to do its nice little countdown. It's going to request a bunch of information. And then while this runs, I'm just going to real quick go to the bathroom. So I'll be right back. All right, let's click. There we go. Sorry, I got distracted petting Noble on my way back. So, if you don't know who Noble is, visit our live streams. He's my little black cat that spends a ton of time with me on stream, lays up here. That's why this neck rest is here. Otherwise, I don't really have much of a need for it. I put it off to the side if I don't need it. Oh, real quick, here we go. See where it says warning, possible missing firmware or module, and then a bunch of stuff. Those are irrelevant. Those are for things like server environments and things like that. You can go through and painstakingly add them in, but they are not going to affect any performance on your computer. There are some people that don't like that. I've never had a single issue. I spent a lot of time talking to ChatGPT to fix that. And it provided me no benefit. Just out of curiosity, one time I was like, let's try and fix that and see if that resolves some of the issues that I was having. It didn't, so it's kind of irrelevant here. This is the entire install process, though, and it's pretty quick. It's pretty fast. It's downloading everything that we're gonna need for this installation to function. So it downloads everything correct, which means with things like Linux Mint or Fedora or Pop OS, things like that, you have to go in and do like a sudo and then the like apt-get install updates, upgrade, all of that. You don't have to do that when you freshly install it because it's doing it all now. Everything is brand new. All right, would you like to chroot into the newly created installation to perform post-installation configuration? No, we do not. I have broken my computer so many times I had to do reinstalls. No, we're good. We're going to go with no, and no, we're good. And my keyboard disconnected. There we go. Alrighty. So now we're going to do reboot. This is going to be that moment, though, that you should know what your boot select button is. So Google that now, unless you wiped your entire computer, then it'll just boot straight into it. But if you have like a hierarchy already set for, which drive, you're gonna have to know that to change that. I just want to make things as easy as possible. I'm focused on people that they don't have any other drive, but this is a second computer. That's really largely where these training modules are focused on. So we're gonna go ahead and do reboot. In my situation, though, I do have that. So with an Asus motherboard, we're going to spam F8. We're going to dedicate to hitting that key. We're going to go. We're going to do it. All right, okay. All right, we're going to hit that. It doesn't even tell you with this motherboard what the boot menu button is. It's stupid. Sometimes if you notice down at the bottom, it said delete F12 or F2 or delete to access BIOS. Some motherboards will actually say boot device or boot select or drive select, and that's where you would do that from. UEFI OS M.2, we're going to select that. Okay, so Arch Linux install LTS, or I selected LTS. It's not the end of the word. Long-term support, so get the idea. Not much is changing with this. Arch Linux is a world where everything changes constantly and everything's constantly getting updates. And then you stay on the bleeding edge of those updates. Those updates can break things, though. It does happen from time to time. I myself have had to reload recently because of an update not having a fallback kernel, which is the part that we're going to focus on here. Arch Linux fallback. This is when something goes horribly awry and you need to boot into your system, or at the very least have access to the kernel environment, and have access to a TTY to try and repair your system. We're just going to use the regular one for right now. And here we go, Arch Linux. We're going to get some more of that hacker script. Bam! There we go. I still don't know why it's green. If anybody in the comment section that knows that answer is watching, just do me a favor. Tell me. Okay, so we're going to enter our password. Allergy season. Oh, wait, I selected Hyperland. Okay, so if you selected multiple, right? This is where you're going to be. Right here at the top, it could be in other spots if you decided to not go with SDDM. It could be in other spots. It'll be like a little gear icon, things like that. In SDDM, it's at the top here. We're going to select the Plasma Wayland is what I'm going to be running. If you didn't select multiple, then you're not going to have to worry about that. So Plasma, Wayland, we're going to press enter. And that's your desktop environment. So what we boot into here is what we've selected, how it looks. There's different styles. So there, we're going to click X here. You can go through that if you want. But first things first, let me show you. Pacman is the one that you're going to be using for Arch Linux. So that's sudo pacman -s, right, for installing, right? And then UUY, and this is just your update options, right? So we're going to check for updates, enter our password. Oh, and look, hey, there might have been something that was updated in the process of that and made me a liar. Okay, this is where multi-lib is very important. I had said that we're going to want to get into the process of being able to play video games. So we're going to try with multi-library, right? Or multi-lib is important because that is where Steam is actually located, is in the multi-lib. So sudo pacman -s, capital S, and Steam. All right. Now we have these options here: AMD Vulkan, NVIDIA Utils, and where's the other one? Intel. Vulkan Intel, right? These are the options that you're going to be looking for. The other ones just kind of ignore. But for me, I'm going to be doing option 1 because I have an AMD card. If you have an NVIDIA card, you're going to want to do this NVIDIA Utils. For me, though, we're just going to go with the default, press Y, and it's going to go through the install process. If you have an NVIDIA card, this moment is very important for you. What you're going to want to do is do sudo pacman -s, and then NVIDIA-settings. I can't show it to you because I don't really have that, but that's one thing that you are going to need. And the other thing that you're going to need is sudo super user do pacman package manager -s for install, and then it's going to be Linux -firmware. If I could spell, that'd be great. And you're going to want these packages as well. Oh, gotta wait until the other one's done running. Okay. I thought it would be done by now. These are very important to have. The drivers are built into the kernel, right? We selected those at the beginning. All right, so there we go. It's good to have the Linux firmware one as well for everybody's cases. Possible missing. Say, ignore these. These are irrelevant to us. It's fine. All right, so that's going to run through there. The first thing I want to show you after this gets done running is we're going to possibility firmware. I don't have an NVIDIA card either, so some of these things are going to be relevant too. I don't have an NVIDIA card. I just want you to know that that's what you're going to need, because if you go to NVIDIA settings, which I don't have an NVIDIA card, so it's not going to be here. This is going to be your control panel for NVIDIA. Just very important to have. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is we're going to do sudo super user do pacman package manager -s for install, capital S, and then Chromium. I use Chromium. I hate Firefox. Firefox can suck it. Chromium is what Google Chrome is built on top of. It is not Google Chrome itself. It's what Google Chrome is built on top of. But now, the reason why we had to do that is because we don't have a web browser. Welcome to Arch Linux. Everything is as bare bones as it possibly can be. You control everything. All right, so we're going to go here to Chromium, and now we have our Google Chrome. We're going to go over here to this Discover button, and I'm going to walk you through this Discover button. So, to use Discover for apps, install Flatpak using Package Manager. Right? So we're going to go here and type how to install Flatpak on Arch Linux. Get used to Googling. Just get used to Googling. So sudo, right? Sometimes it doesn't have it. We might run into some problems. So sudo pacman -s Flatpak. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Could not. If I spell Flatpak right, that'd be great. There we go. That's going to download all of this Flatpak. Right? It's going to run through. This is very valuable, and I'll show you why in the future here directly. What we're also going to do is we're going to load up Steam, because our goal is to get to the point where we can play video games. Possible missing firmware. Okay, yeah, it's fine. I don't know why we keep running into that with this install. Some installs, man, they get stuck on things like that, and like they can't let it go. All right, now we're gonna open up Discover, and you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of other options here. We play video games though, so let's take a look at Discord. Just click the button, the little download arrow. It's just gonna, you just click the button, install. That's what I had promised at the very beginning. I'm going to show you how to install things directly from a store instead of having to use this terminal. So you just got to fight through the terminal one time, and largely most of the things that most people are going to need are here. We got our Spotify, you have Telegram, you got your GIMP, you got your VLC, so this way you can play videos. Just about anything that you want is inside of here. Oh yeah, Godot, if you want to play do video game design, it's right there. There's a lot of great options in here. Yes, Blender works fantastic here. And then you have something like, say you want to do dag damn it. Come on. There we go. Kden Live. This is a video editor. So if you want to do video edits, you can do that here. That's the video editor that I use when DaVinci Resolve wants to be a pain in my ass. Because I don't have an NVIDIA card, so it doesn't like to cooperate and play now. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to log in real quick to Steam. Bam. And yes. And we're going to go over Steam again. Quickest thing that we need to accomplish, getting into playing video games. All right. We're going to, at the top right of Steam, we're going to click the Steam button, We're going to click this button. And we're going to go to settings. And then we're going to go all the way down here and find compatibility. Right? And you're going to want to enable for all other titles and click restart. So all other titles being ones that aren't designed to natively work inside of Linux, because there are some developers that have developed for inside of Linux, and it's becoming less and less of a requirement because of the work that Valve has put in. A little bit of water, Gatorade in that situation. A little bit of coffee. We're running low. So it might feel like it takes an eternity, but it's really quick. All right, and then we're going to go into library, and let's pick a game that's a little bit more intensive. Let's see. I love to go with Outer Wilds because it's a very pretty game. All right. That's going to start. Now, say you want to, there we go. Steam, settings, and we're going to want a FPS counter. In-game. FPS. Bottom left, yes. Alrighty, so it's downloading our game. There was another one. Let me see if I can find it. Linux FPS owner. Over FPS. That was 10 years ago. I'll have to find that later. I was mentioned to me on a live stream, and my dumb butt forgot to write it down. That's not the end of the world. All right. So this is almost done downloading. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back with you guys. Alrighty. My granddaughter walked in and wanted to ask me something. Let's see, real quick. We go over here, audio, and we do it through the... What the hell happened there? Okay. Through the HDMI port. There we go. Should be able to have a little bit of audio coming through. Alrighty. So, Outer Wilds, and we're going to click play, and we're going to move my butt back over to the side here. I do all of this on actual hardware, right? So, there's that. If you want to help with accomplishing this, because I steal my daughter's computer whenever I do these. If you want to help with that, go over to the store, shop.moidy.com. You get yourself a Hong Kong Titty Croissant shirt. If you watch our live streams when we play Phasmophobia, that is a phrase that the great Pandora loves to say to get me killed. She finds it wonderful, and now she has a shirt because of it. We also have the Orion, the original Orion class shirt, as well as the newer Orion Constellation shirt for my lovely little buddy who used to be with me on streams, who passed away earlier this year. And then portions of those proceeds go to the Humane Society for those Orion shirts. If it's the Hong Kong Titty Croissant shirts, that goes towards a little project that we have that we're working on in the background that I think people would love. Hop on over and take a look at it. We also have coffee mugs, which are just like these ones, but mine, and mine haven't come in yet. Okay, so we got Outer Wilds. Let's see. I don't know if the audio will come through. Looks like it might be. I can't actually... Oh, wait. Yes, I can. I can go here to Properties. And let's see. Let's see. Real quick. Sorry about this. Downside to doing it live, I guess. Properties. There should be a... Use audio, capture audio only. Output audio. Direct sound, I think is the option. Let me see. Hey. new edition. Coming through very, very quietly. But hey, there we go. Now hopefully it's caught on the recording. So there we go. And then our FPS counter, it's showing 56, 63. This isn't the greatest of graphics cards. It's an RX 6600 core, which only has 80 gigs of RAM. See, my audio's not properties. Okay. But yeah, so this is Outer Wilds. We are playing video games now. It's a very simple little process. Again, this is running directly on hardware. So it's not it's not a virtual machine. We're not doing any shenanigans here. This is running directly on PC hardware. So yeah, I'm personally a fan of it. That's me. If you'd like to, I don't want to have to play a game here that I've played plenty of hours on stream. Anyways, if you'd like to join us in enjoying the world of Linux, take a look at it. PewDiePie is a big advocate for it, and it's great that he recently came out as a Linux person. By the way, my frame rate is capped at 60 because it's an HD 60 card. So it's limited by what the hardware it's plugged into can handle. So I really wish that this keyboard would decide to operate. So yeah. But yeah, this is gaming on Linux. Wow, this card is really letting me down today. Usually it's sitting right there pinned at 60. So, regardless, that's Linux. If you want to see what it's like when it comes down to playing games on Linux, with the exception of Fortnite, because Tim Sweeney needs to get his head out of his butt, with the exception of Fortnite, everything I do on this channel is in the world of Linux. All the games that we play, any failures, any crashes are a result of that environment. So you can see its wins and its failures live on this channel whenever I'm playing video games with my friends. Pop on into a live stream. We'd love to have you there. Also, down in the description below, we have our Discord. I'm trying to build up a wonderful community of people that love playing video games and being inside of Linux and helping each other. So if you'd like to join the Discord, there's a whole Linux section that we've put together as well. So this way we can start, trying to grow a community that cares and want to help each other. So come and join us. We'll see you guys in the next one. And oh, it's okay, gotcha. It's the Adel Rock. I was like, what is the smoke? I haven't seen that. That's a new edition. Yeah, I have. Anyways, don't be afraid to dive into the Rift. This was Linux install playing video games in less than an hour. We'll see you guys in the next one.